Hi, this is Planet Mitch, and I run the blog at planet5d.com. Now, this podcast isn't going to be for my regular readers. This is going to be for those of you out there who are bloggers, those of you who are using WordPress to run a blog, or thinking about using WordPress to run a blog, and are looking to save some time. Today, we're going to cover a lot of the features of PrettyLink Pro, and there's six top features that I really think will help you run your website. The first one is that PrettyLink Pro gives you usage stats for the number of people that have clicked on a particular link. I have advertisers on my blog, and I track the links for each individual advertiser so that at the end of the month, I know how many times a particular advertiser has gotten a click-through. The second thing that really is important to me, especially when I started the blog, was that I wanted everything branded to Planet 5D. And embedded inside PrettyLink Pro is URL shortening. So if you want to stop using bit.ly and the other URL shorteners, you can stop that and simply use PrettyLink Pro, and your users will see your blog or your URL as the domain instead of bit.ly and not wonder what that is. They'll trust it a little bit more. Now, some people are still suspicious, and they'll always be suspicious of links that just don't say, well, I'm going to Amazon.com. If it says blog.planet5d.com, they're going to be a little suspicious. You're never going to catch 100% of those people. But the URL shortening with your own branding is fabulous. The other branding feature that PrettyLink Pro has is the Pretty Bar. Now, that's a little toolbar that you can have applied to a link so that, and I'm going to run through a demo here in a few minutes, but if you create a pretty link and place it in your blog and you have it as a pretty bar at the top, when the user clicks that link and goes to site xyz.com, they'll see at the top your logo and your branding, and they'll know that's where they came from. It's especially helpful because some people might pass on that link, and therefore you're spreading your brand when you go out, when other people take your branded link and send it off. The fourth item is fabulous, and I use it all the time, is keyword replacement. When you say, for example, in the example I'm going to show you, I'm going to create a blog post about a new product from a company called Synovate, and everywhere that I use the word Synovate in the blog post, PrettyLink is going to substitute my link to Synovate's website. So the keyword replacement is fabulous because once you create that link, you never have to go back and create the anchor tag and the href equals or click on a link to build a link. It's automatically put in there for you, and that's going to save you a ton of time. You can create the pretty links with a bookmarklet, which is also really cool. So I'll show you when we go to the Synovate website that I'll click on a link in the top of my browser, and bang, I have created a pretty link. And then we'll go in and edit it and add the keyword replacement and all that kind of stuff. The last item is that PrettyLink Pro has several different features inside of it, like that replace other plugins that I used to be running on WordPress, so that I still have plenty of other plugins, but PrettyLink Pro, like for example, has the tweet this kind of icon you can put in there, or the social bar where you can have LinkedIn or StumbleUpon or Reddit or those things, so the user can pass on your links to other people. All right, so enough of the quick overview. I probably talked too long there. Let's dive right in and show you exactly how it works. PrettyLink Pro really has a lot of features in it, and I'm really not, unfortunately, going to be able to show you absolutely everything. But what we're going to do is we're going to run through the creation of a blog post. Now, I've actually just sort of started this out just to have a rough draft started. But when we actually create the links, what I'm going to show you is this keyword Synovate here is going to be replaced when we use the keyword replacement. And I'm going to run you through how I would actually sort of create this whole blog post, even though I've already got it sort of started. Now, Synovate here's the website for those guys, and they've actually sent me a link that they want me to use for this press release. And so I'm going to actually go to that particular link that they gave me. And you notice it's actually kind of extended into this different link up here in the URL. And so what I'm going to do is walk through the process of creating the link the way I normally do it, and you'll see the whole process. All right, now I have, one of the things I mentioned in the introduction was bookmarklets. I have a couple of bookmarklets created already so that I can quickly create links within PrettyLink Pro from the original website. So that's what we're going to do here. I'm going to use this one called, my short name was PrettyLink External No Tracking, because this particular link I don't want to have tracking turned on. So anyway, I clicked the bookmarklet, which is in the top row of my browser, and now I'm going to go over to PrettyLink Pro and edit that. So I have another link simply to jump me right over here. And you'll see right here at the top is our latest PrettyLink that was created. So we're actually in the administrator for WordPress, and it has gone down to the PrettyLink set of options, and it is showing me the current links that I am using, the last ones that have been created. And this is the one that we just created by clicking on the bookmarklet. And you can see that this X under hits is not tracking it. It's put it in a group called external, which I haven't mentioned yet, but you can create groups of links within PrettyLink Pro. And over here, it's showing you that well, let's just go in and edit this sucker. All right. So PrettyLink Pro created it based on that long, crazy link, and I really don't want to use that long, crazy link. I want to use the one the vendor sent me, so I'm going to just paste that in here. And you'll see that this is the actual PrettyLink right in here. So we have our domain, and then we have this little 3-letter tag that PrettyLink has randomly generated for us. And you notice that we can type in this field so that I can actually change that if I want to. I could make it be Synovate Simplus, which I know isn't very short, but it's a way of remembering that later on. And the users aren't going to be typing this in most cases. And, so sometimes I change the link from the 3-character randomly generated one to this longer one. In this particular case, I know, for example, I'm likely not going to show this particular link to anybody. It's going to be embedded in this blog post, so I'm not really caring so much about whether it's shorter or longer. But with PrettyLink Pro, you have options, and this is a bug that I've reported to Blair Williams, the guy who's created PrettyLink Pro. For some reason, it's currently losing the group because I showed you it was in the external. And there are several different redirection types. If you don't want to use the pretty bar, you can use the 307 or the 301, and you can read all about that, the details about that in the documentation, which there is pretty extensive documentation. This little question mark right here will help you there. Excuse me. And you can change the SEO options, whether you want to know follow or tracking. You can turn this on if you want to track it. For now, I'm going to turn that on to show you how that works. And then I'm going to show you some of the pro options. Now down here is where the keywords are. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make Synovate. I told you I was going to use the Synovate keyword. And I'm also going to do another set of keywords just to cover myself so that I can get them when I normally would put multiple keywords or multiple names for a link in a blog post. So I'm going to do Synovate. I can't type and talk at the same time apparently. Synovate Simplus, which is the name of this new product. And then I'm going to just do Simplus because if I don't happen to include the Synovate word with it, then I'm okay. Now, there are some other options that I'm not really going to cover in here. If you want to do not tracking, what's the word I'm looking for? If you want to do some testing of going to different links, or if you don't always want that link to go to the same spot, you can, I'm not explaining this very well, but you can set up several different links that it would rotate through based on these weightings. So the user could potentially go to different pages for your own testing purposes. Split testing, that's the word I was looking for. And right now I'm going to ignore all that. I'm going to do update. So right now you see we've got keywords set up for Synovate Simplest, Synovate, and Simplest by itself. So if I go back to the post, which is over here, and I need to put in one just to show you how this works. Simplis. Sorry, I can't type and talk. I'm going to do save draft, and then I'm going to do preview. And we will see that in the preview that it has gone ahead and replaced Synovate for me. I did not type an anchor tag. I didn't have to do any of the href or any of that other stuff. PrettyLink Pro simply inserted this hyperlink, and you can see down here in the notification window that that's going to a tag called AFF. And oh, by the way, I already had a PrettyLink Pro for Synovate, so that's why it says AFF and not Synovate Simplest. But this one will say Synovate Simplest down at the end. So I already had PrettyLink Pro keyword replacement on another one, so that's why it came up that way. I guess you get it. All right, so bang, we've gone in, we've created a blog post, we've used PrettyLink Pro to create the link to that web page. And if we go to that web page, by the way, since we had the pretty bar turned on, I want to show you what that looks like. So here's the pretty bar up at the top showing the users that they came from Planet 5D. And here's my title for my blog and my subtitle, and they're viewing this particular link, so they will always know. But notice up at the top, the user sees in the address bar the Planet 5D link. So if they were to copy that and send it to a friend, bingo bango, they're going to see it just like this with the Planet 5D branding, and they may go, hey, what's this Planet 5D thing? I want to go check that out. And I've got many examples where users have done that. I have one link that's been clicked like 12,000 times because people were copying and pasting the pretty link as opposed to the source link. And so I don't have any proof of how many new followers I've got or anything like that, but I do have over 12,000 hits on that one link alone where they're coming back and seeing my branding. Whether or not they take advantage of it, I can't tell, but at least they're seeing my branding. So I'm getting additional exposure with that pretty bar. The user can always close this, by the way, by simply clicking the X, and then they get taken to the original source code, to the original source page. Okay, so I'm going to close this, and you can see that we've done some pretty impressive things right off the bat with a simple little keyword replacement feature. And so what I'm going to do now is go back and I'm going to refresh this page. I'm going to show you that we've gotten some tracking already. So I did click that link, and therefore we turned on tracking. And so PrettyLink Pro has tracked that click, and you can see right off the bat that you can get a lot of information in terms of tracking what your users have done with your links. And that's a pretty cool feature, especially the way I have it set up, because, well, let's just go through some of this. For example, their groups I briefly mentioned before. I have all of my ads set up in a group, and you can see there's 48 different links in there. But I can quickly click on this hits link, and I can get a chart to find out how many times users have been clicking on my links this month that are advertising links. And down here I can scroll through and find out not only which link, but which page they came from, what the short link is, who they are, what their address is, blah, blah, blah. I can find out all sorts of information, and I can see whether or not users are clicking my advertiser links, for example. So it gives me a warm and fuzzy when I come in and see this. and find out that, yes, indeed, people are clicking my advertising links, and that makes the advertisers warm and fuzzy too. Now, on their side, they're doing their own tracking, and that's fine, but I want to be able to know for myself which advertisers are getting the clicks and that indeed users are clicking on my ads. So that's a pretty healthy little tool. So looking at the Pretty Link options over here, you can see there are quite a few. I can add a link directly. It gives you the same screen that we sort of looked at before with the options in the Pro. So you can type it in yourself if you want to. I happen to have used the Bookmarklet, but I use this plenty of times as well. Briefly showed you the groups, so you can set up different groups of pretty links so that if you can set up different groups so that you can keep track of them differently if you want to do reporting on the number of hits and stuff. I'm not going to go through that very much. There are a couple of tools that you can look at. The Bookmarklet, which is how I created this. You simply type in a label and you decide whether it's going to be a pretty bar or a temporary or a permanent link, whether you're going to do the tracking or not, and which group it's going to go to. And very simply, you just take this link, you grab it, and you drop it up there on your toolbar, and you've got a Bookmarklet all set, ready to go in your browser. I'm not going to create another one right now, but you see how easy that is to create those. So you can create several of them right up there in your toolbar and create Pretty Link links very quickly. Let's see, it's been a while since I've been in here. You've got a whole bunch of different options for your defaults. This is whether you want tracking turned on, whether you want the no follow turned on, whether you want a prefix, blah, blah, blah. So there's a lot of different options in there. You've got the pretty bar options, which is where you set your logo and your background and your colors and all of those cool things for your pretty bar. So that's very customizable. You can set up some reporting options. This was a feature that Blair added last year sometime, but it would track links from a lot of the bots, and you don't have to worry about that anymore because they filter those known bots out. But if you happen to have an IP address that you know is somebody that's hitting your site that you don't want to track, you can add that to this list right there. Anyway, I'm getting a little deep there. You can trim the number of hits in the database if you want to minimize the number of rows in that hit table. Sometimes that can get pretty big, and it'll slow down your reporting. If you're not on a beefy server and you have quite a few links that you're tracking, it can slow down, especially the reporting options. There are quite a few little options in here in the Pretty Link Pro itself, and I meant to click on this one. That's the Pro options include many different things, so you can change your Pretty Link base URL if you want. You can make public links public. I really don't need to get into all this. Here's where I was talking about the social bar. And let me just show you, for example, I'm going to go into one of my blog posts, and my front page is sort of a summary, and then the user drills down into the blog post. So I talked about the pretty bar tweet link, and you can have that show up at the top of your post, and you'll see this number here means that 9 people have clicked this tweet and sent it on to other people. So that's pretty cool. You can kind of reinforce users tweeting the links to your blog posts if that number gets bigger. Obviously, if you click the tweet link, then it's going to pop up an option for you to do the link, and I'm not going to do that right now. If you scroll down to the bottom, however, you can see the social bar. Now, actually, Pretty Link Pro will let you have that at the top if you want. I have it set up for Dig and Twitter and Facebook and Reddit. I don't have a lot of the other social toolbar options turned on there, but here you see you can create quite a few different links for them to click. There's a setup option in here for your Twitter account. You can automatically create links, and I didn't show you this over on the blog post itself, but when you post, you can automatically create links for the posts. You can create links for the pages. Especially down here in the Twitter, I should show you that here's where the Twitter badge is in the RSS feed if you have that set out. You can have the user set up. You can do hashtags if you want. And in the defaults, I'm still looking for it because I don't remember. I set it one time and forget it. Somewhere in here, sorry, I don't remember exactly where it is. Anyway, if you actually look at the edit post, here's this Pretty Link Pro tool, and by default, I have this checked, and somewhere in the settings you can define whether this is checked by default or not. But Pretty Link will create the blog, the link itself, and then if you want to, it will automatically send out a tweet. Now, I wish it would automatically post to your Twitter, to your Facebook page, but hopefully that's a feature Blair will be working on in the future. But you can also customize the tweet that's going to go out. Notice the hashtag replacement here in the URL and the title. So if you want to fool around with the way that looks when it gets tweeted out to the customers, then you can change those features. I'm pretty much rambling. There are so many things going on in here. It's just amazing. And I'm scrolling down to the bottom because there are also some Pretty Link Pro options, and I click on it and it goes away, where you can, for this particular post, override the default options. For example, if you don't want Synovate in that particular example to be replaced, you can disable the keyword replacements. So there are just so many options, it's mind-boggling. But and I think I've covered 80% of them. I know I haven't covered them all. You can set up special reports. You can export your pretty links if you want to send them somewhere else, or save them in case your database somehow went away. Blah blah blah. There's just so many different features in here. It's amazing. And so what I'm going to do is cut it off right there. I think I've given you quite a bit to chew on. As I said, Pretty Link Pro has a lot of features, and I believe that you can see from how simple it was to create the links, to have the keyword replacement help me out in the blog post itself. The pretty bar helps with the branding and the short URLs. You've got your own URLs embedded in there. There aren't many features that could be added to this that would really do you that much additional good. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it helps. Try Pretty Link Pro out. And our thanks to Blair Williams for putting it together, because we use it all the time. All right, thanks. This is Planet Mitch signing off.